So let's start with this warm-up section. In this chapter, I will present you some typical tactical ideas for black and for white also, and also some strategical stuff, but it will be more tactical. So I will show you some examples from the practice. So it was each time some real games. And you can stop the video and try to find the solution on your own, or just let it play. It's as you want, but if I were you, I would go and pause and try to find the solution. So, first example is a game played in 2007 between Reinier Gonzalez and Meail Marin. White played f4. Playing for a strong center and intending to play e5 later. Black played c5 and tries to play for some counterplay immediately. Here white played d takes c5, and here is my first question. What will you play with the black pieces? And it's quite typical. So the right move is queen a5. Well done if you find. The idea is to pin the knight on c3 and to attack the pawn on e4. So black is threatening to play knight takes e4 next move. If white tries to block this by playing bishop d2, then black can take on c5 with the queen. And it's always better to take with a piece on c5 than to take with the pawn, because this kind of pawn structure is always better for white. And black didn't stop the idea of e5. So I'm not sure it's the best move right now, but it's just to show you the problem. With this kind of pawn structure, black doesn't have any more d6 to break white center, and our bishop on g7 might be quite passive now because he has a wall just in front of him. So we prefer to play queen takes c5, having some kind of Sicilian pawn structure. And also I have to say that the queen on c5 is annoying for white because it won't be so easy to play with short castle. So in the game, white preferred to play queen f3, but they missed black center. So it's my second question in this example. What should black play here? In the game, Meail Marin found it. He played knight takes c4, strong move, because after queen takes c4, black will simply take on c3, and after bc3, queen c3 check, black attacks both the king and the rook and will win some material. So in the game, after knight takes c4, white play knight g2, and black preferred to play knight takes c3, but I have to say that the simple knight takes c5 was quite strong also. Black has just one pawn up, and white has no compensation for it. In the game, black took on c3, white played bishop d2 to pin this knight, knight c6 was played, bishop takes c3, knight b4 was played, attacking c2, and okay, I will not show you all the game, I'm going to stop now, but just to say that black is much better and eventually won this game. Let's go to example number 2. So this is a game between Michael Bassman with white against John Nunn, played a long time ago in 1973. And white castle here. So we can see that this position is from a classical line of the Pirc defense, where white just try to develop themselves. And only difference is that they put the bishop on c4 and not on e2. So how will you play with black, trying to keep an advantage from this bishop on c4? And the answer is that you can play knight takes c4. Very good. The idea is to remove one pawn from the center, and after knight takes c4, black wants to play d5 and regain immediately this piece sacrificed. So it's an idea that can appear on other openings, like on e4, e5. For example, in the Italian game that some children play with the 4 knights and bishop c4, in which knight takes c4 is always the good move. And here after d5, the thing is that if white keeps the bishop like this, anyway, black will play knight d7 and c5 next move to exchange the last central white pawn, and black would be okay. In the game, white tried to weaken somehow black's king, but after rook takes f7, knight takes c4, h6, black is already a bit better, and the game continued by bishop e3, bishop g4, pinning this knight, and then knight c6 will come, and black was already better. So let's go to next example, but thing that we can remember is that when white has a bishop on c4, always look if knight takes c4 is an option for black. It might be very strong to destroy white center and chase this strong bishop from this diagonal. Okay, next example. Okay, here white played h3, so okay, it seemed more or less logical with the idea to play bishop e3 and protecting the center, and white won't have to look at some move like knight g4, which might be annoying. But h3 is a big mistake, and black here has a winning line. So I hope you find it. The answer is to trade everything on d4. And now that the queen is in front of the bishop, we will have to look at some discover attack. And the good move is knight takes e4. So the queen is under attack. Only move seems to be queen takes e4, but then rook e8 come, and black cannot protect the rook on e1. After a move like queen d3, black just take on e1 with an exchange and a pawn up. Black is winning. So what you might remember is that when you play some position like this, just have a look if you can trade on d4 and benefits from the bishop keeping an eye on the queen on d4. Okay, this I start from the initial position because it will be a strategical question. So it was a game between Max Warmerdam with white against Tiger Hillard Persson, big expert on modern and Pirc defense. And quite early on, black had an interesting decision to take. White played knight h3, intending to play knight g5 and coming to this hole on g5. A knight on g5 is always strong because it helps to attack f7, and when white then play e5 and d6, it might be a problem on f7, and also if the bishop comes then to d3, black will have some trouble to protect g6. So how black should play now? And the right method to play here is to trade this knight. Yes, just eliminate it as soon as possible, because next move it will be too late, it will be already on g5. By taking it, then you can just continue your play with knight b7, queen c7, maybe e5 or c5 or b4, depending on how white will play, but it's safer for black to play like this. I will just show you some moves in this game. f4, b4, knight a4, knight g4 was played, and so on. Black won quickly the game because white took on b4. I think it's a risky decision. Black played immediately c5. Problem for white is that they couldn't really take with this pawn because rook b8 is coming, attacking the queen, and b2 would be under attack. So after c5, the position is already difficult for white. Game continued like this, and black was one piece up, then one rook up, and it's too much. So white resigned, but that was not the point of this example. Just remember that it's good in this kind of position to take this knight. So keeping the bishop on c8 is a good idea. Just waiting that the knight show off on a3 and take it. Okay, another example which might remind us what we see to exercise before, but it's not with some discovery attack on the queen, but something else. Here it's black to play. f4 was the last white move, and it's a mistake because this bishop now isn't protected anymore. We have the rook in front. So how can black benefit from it? And the answer is to take on e4 with the knight. Very strong move. Because whatever white take back with the knight or the bishop, in any case we will play d5, and black will be much better. After knight takes e4, you can see that d5 is strong because black wants to take on e4, and if this knight go whatever. Next move would be rook takes e3, winning one pawn. And after bishop takes e4, d5 is very strong one more time, because after knight takes d5, then rook takes e4 is coming, and after bishop takes d5, rook takes e3 is coming. And every white piece, not every one, but many white pieces are under attack. This knight on d4, the pawn on g3, and also the pawn on h3. And I have to say that the king on g1 is quite weak now, with all this pawn pushed just in front of him. And black also has the bishop pair, so many things tells us that black is clearly better. So white has to be very careful when playing f4, when there is a rook in front of the bishop, because of this d5 ID. d5 immediately is not so good, because white might close the position with e5, but knight takes e4 is very strong, and black immediately takes the lead. Okay, another example here. How would you play with black? So right now, it's not a tactical question, but more strategical one. And the answer is to play knight b4, which is a good move. The idea is that when black introduces the moves a6, a4, there is this all on b4, and it's a good idea to occupy it with the knight, because now this knight cannot be chased easily. And this knight has a good influence on the center, because it controls the square on d5, so it might help to play d5. Also, it's keeping an eye on c2, which might be important sometimes. And at the same time, it frees the path for our c pawn, so c5 might be an option. Next move, attacking this knight, and when the knight on d4 moves away, then bishop c6 come, putting more pressure on e4. And then black can go with b5 or maybe d5 and so on. So it was a game I played myself with black, and my opponent here played knight d5, which seems to be logical, but actually it's a big mistake, and black is winning material. So do you find how to proceed here? The answer is you have to take with the f knight, e takes d5, and now the move which is not so obvious, not very difficult, but not obvious, it's bishop takes d4. Yeah, sometimes we just don't even think about giving away our beloved dark square bishop, but yeah, it's just very strong, because we will play knight takes c2 and in the next move. If white takes with the bishop, we take on e1 and we make a deviation, then knight takes c2, and then yeah, black is winning an exchange. And if white takes with the queen, then knight takes c2 is played immediately, and after this, even as another pawn can be taken. And yes, it was how my game went, and I played f5 and just bring my queen to defense. It's the only stuff black has to be careful about is dark square around the king, but with the queen like this, nothing can happen. Black just have to activate the rooks, and yeah, it's quite easy to win. So yes, just remember that this knight on b4 is a good idea, and it might happen in some of your games. Okay, let's have a look at another game. So okay, just a modern defense where white played quickly an attack on the king side, and black will react by playing c5, which is always a good idea. When your opponent attacks you on the side, then counterattack in the center is a general advice in chess, which is often a good one. So my question is, what's happening after d takes c5? And the answer is play knight e5. The idea is simply to take on f3 next move, so playing for a fork with the king and the queen, and also knight c4 is a threat, so it's not that easy for white to defend everything. So bishop g2 seemed logical, then knight c4 is coming, queen c1. So things are fine for black, but how to proceed now to continue, because okay, we have a nice knight on c4, but white for the moment has the pawn up, and b4 is strong, chasing this knight away from c3, let's say knight d1, and then d5, which is the key move here to explode white center and opening lines for bishops, and also the white king actually won't find a safe spot easily. So that is a good way to play for black. The idea to remember is that if white attacks early on the king side, then try to find some counterplay in the center. In this example, it was with c5, knight e5, and this d5 move, very important. If you manage to play in the center like this, you will always have a very strong position. And another example of central play is from this example. So it was a game between Thomas Fabien and Omar Almeida Quintana, which is an expert also on modern defense. And okay, so the opening, we won't speak much about this. So black is just developing his pieces. So okay, nicely. White tries to keep the center. But just have a look at this kind of position. It reminds me somehow the setup black used in the Breyer defense in the Ruy Lopez. So the Breyer defense is this one. Bishop b5, a6, bishop a4, knight f6, castle, bishop e7, rook e1, b5, bishop b3, d6, c3, castle, h3. And black decided to relocate this knight on b8 and on d7 to protect the center. And we'll play later on rook e8, bishop f8, g6, bishop g7, bishop might go to b7 and c5 might come. But if we compare at the position we have now on the board, it's just so much better for black because they didn't lost so many time being bishop e7, rook e8, bishop f8, g6, bishop g7, and knight c6, knight b8, knight d7. Every piece just went immediately on the right square, and black so is in advance here. So I'm not saying that Breyer is a bad opening at all. Actually, it's a good way to play for black in the Ruy Lopez, but just that this position is very good for black because we have so many tempo more. And so how to proceed here with black? So we saw it in the last example. I said to you that if black manage to play in the center in a good way, it will always be good for them because the bishops will find yes, it will be nice for our bishops to open up the play because they are already on the biggest diagonal. So d5 here is the right answer. And it was played in the game. Here white played knight g3 and Almeida Quintana took on e4, which is good for black, and he won this game in less than 30 moves anyway. But there was here a better way to play, more tactical one, and if you want to try to find it, you can try. But I will show you. So it's to take 2 times on d4 and play this nice move knight g4. So attacking the bishop, which doesn't have squares to go, so has to take on g7. Then queen b6 check, king h1, knight e3, winning 1 tempo on the queen, so queen had to move, and then just recapture on g7, and white remains with 2 pieces under attack. So yeah, white just have to lose some material here. So it would have been a nice nice tactical stuff for black. So okay, thing to remember is one more time to play in the center if you can. This move d5 was super strong and was played in this game. Okay, in this position white played e5, which seems quite good because white is attacking this knight, and the knight hasn't nice squares to retreat. Usually black likes to go to g4 to put more pressure on e5, but when white plays the move h3, then e5 each time is quite annoying for black. So how black can deal now with this move? And the answer is to play b4, which was played in the game. Yeah, the idea is that black counterattack this knight, If this knight moves away, then black will have the d5 square for his knight. And when white take on f6, then black take on c3. But the important thing to know is that white king has to be on e1 or on c1 in this kind of position, because, okay, just rewind a bit. I'm just playing short castle here, and yeah, okay, let's say bishop b7 for black. Now e5 would be much stronger, because after b4, white could play for this desperado stuff when each side take everything. Pawn takes g7 would be super strong now, because after pawn takes d2, white takes on g8 and make a new queen, and black will just be one rook and piece behind, so position is lost. But if white king, as in the game, is on e1 or c1, this kind of line doesn't work anymore, because after pawn takes d2, black takes with check and just grabs the queen. So that is all the difference here between those two lines. So be careful. If white has played long castle and king b1, then e5 might become very strong. But right here in this example, b4 was the right answer. And after ef6, bc3, white played queen takes c3, queen takes c3, b takes c3, and knight takes f6. And black enjoyed a better endgame, and black managed to win this game. So here is another example where white played e5, and black managed in a nice tactical way to deal with it. So d5, d5, and on the contrary, as last example, we can see that white didn't play h3, so we can jump to g4. Okay, also I have to say that now b4 wouldn't be good at all, because pawn takes f6 just wins the piece because it's by check. So knight jump to g4, and now this pawn on e5 is under attack, so white has to protect it. So two moves looks logical: queen g5 or queen f4. And on each move, black has a very good answer. So what to play after queen g5? And the good move here would be to play knight takes e5, because after knight takes e5, black has f6, just playing with this fork, and black will take back on e5, then next move with his knight, and play with a pawn up. So that would be great for black. So queen f4 was played in the game, and here also black has a very nice way to deal with it. Black played knight d takes e5, knight takes e5, and queen d6. Very strong, playing on the pin, and yeah, black will just take back his piece next move. So white is forced to take on g6, and in the game, Mihail Marin took back with the f pawn, trying to open up the f file. But it seems that h takes g6 was even better, with this kind of ending, which leads to slightly better position for black, with a strong center and active pieces. The bishop will go to e6, the knight surely goes to e5, and so on. But anyway, it was nice to see those ideas with knight takes e5. So now we will go to white point of view, and just be careful with black when you are underdeveloped. Here it's one of my own game, and my opponent played bishop b7. So now it's white to move. Can you find how to continue with white? So it's not that complicated, and it reminds us the opera game with knight takes b5, because after pawn takes b5, bishop takes b5, the knight on d7 is under attack 2 times, so bishop c8 has to be played, then classical exchange sacrifice, and then new pin, and white will just take back on d7. For the moment, white has 3 pawns for the exchange, which is more than enough, but even if we don't speak about material stuff, it's clear that black pieces aren't well connected, and black is in big trouble now. So with the same kind of idea, I will show you a game of Michael Adams with white, playing against Daniel Brisby. And so one more time, black opened up early the game with e5, and you can see that they are far from ready to castle because they need one move and another move, so 2 moves away from castling, and white can immediately strike. So what is the way to play with white? Adams found it. It's a b5, and when black took back on b5, then to sacrifice a piece. Take on a8, bishop takes a8. Rook a1, very good move, winning 1 tempo on this bishop. Queen d8 was played to protect the bishop. If bishop b7, then rook a7 is a problem also attacking this bishop. So queen d8 was played, then bishop takes b5, putting more pressure on d7. Maybe the queen will be overloaded because I had to protect a8 and also d7, and knight takes e5 might come. Bishop e7 was played, then knight takes e5. So castling isn't possible for the moment because this knight on d7 is attacked too much. Bishop takes e4, knight d7, knight d7. Rook a7 was played by Adams, and he won the game, but I have to say that maybe the simplest move here would be to play queen d4, attacking both the bishop and the rook, and white will remain with 2 pawns up, which is more than enough. And last example is a game between Laurent Fressinet and Mial Marin. So we saw many examples of Marin with black pieces, but it's not by accident because he's a good expert on this Pirc defense. But this time things were wrong for him. So it was not knight takes b5 this time. So if you want to look at this position, there's another way for white to play here, which is very strong. And it was connected to b5 somehow. The move is d5. So the idea is simply to remove this pawn from c6 and to attack on b5. And one more time, the position is opening up and black isn't ready to castle at all. White pieces are much more ready to go for the fight. After pawn takes d5, white intends simply to take with the knight, and if knight takes d5, then queen takes d5, attacking the rook, attacking b5, and wrong arrow, and also maybe a7 might be under attack at some point, so many problems for black. In the game, Marin went for b4, but after a b4, c takes d5, here Fressinet found this nice move bishop g5, intending to go on d5 with the knight. And after d4, knight d5, black position is already beyond salvation, and after bishop b5 check, black was forced to lose the right to castle. Castle now for white, so some knight takes d4 might come, bishop h6 was played, and I'm not sure white played the most precise move, but anyway they won in a convincing way with this rook a5 attacking e5, bishop f4 was played, and then knight takes e5 anyway, playing on the pin. So just be careful with black to not open the center too quickly. Think about your development, but anyway, that's an advice anyone can give you in any opening, so it's not from the just for Pirc or modern defense, but just general understanding of openings. So that's it with this warm-up. I hope you enjoyed it, and now we will have a look at other themes on the next chapters.